design and stuff. The other thing, if you guys want a chair to sit in, typically the process is it's there and then it goes to the packaging station. So if we want to have one to sit in, to stage for video, I'm going to ask Martine to set one off the line before they pack it, and then they can back it up after we leave.
Okay.
So maybe
if I slide it back on and then slide it off. And...
yeah, one is complete, have it just sitting out there that we can do video with.
Yes, I believe it's on the light here. I can leave it here with Martine. It's coming, right?
Yes. What time do they break?
I believe at 11:30.
11:30.
They look nice. Looking at that one. That looks nice.
Yes, 11:30. 45 minutes.
Okay. That'll be about our time here to be done. You'll probably want to go up and Olga doesn't come down. You can want to say hello to Olga to her.
That's the speak that he has.
Yep.
So did you see that little piece that you got in your keychain?
Uh-huh.
Did you see it over there?
Yeah, that's right.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a pin that travels through that track. And that's what locks it and unlocks it. So you can see what happens, like all of these parts in that rack come in that way.
Uh-huh.
So the supplier welds up the frame, puts the foam on, and then these guys are getting the upholstery,
the sleeves
that
coming
sleeve
in
or whatever over there, and then they're attaching. You can see this guy. It's not an easy process.
No.
It's tight.
Okay, Travis, I gotta go to my dad's store.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is the part that the guy in Minnesota flattened.
Holy hell.
He's like, oh, there's a bend here or something.
Good question.
We were trying to get it fixed. Oh, I see what's wrong. It's bent. And so, as I was explaining to them, they're asking me questions about the design and gauge and stuff and product. And you're the man. You did the work. So you get to talk them through the story. Okay? You're on. You rehearsed this last night for 4 hours. Come on.
Well, does it make sense to kind of start?
Let's start over here. Yeah.
You're gonna have to give me an idea of what you want to hear about.
Well, I would say from a manufacturing process, so the idea, if we were to take it from those elements and like questions that I would have as we're going through the process and talking about gauge of steel, what type of system are we looking at, what does it mean from a performance standpoint. So just trying to get a technical story.
Okay. Well, we'll start here with the lower arms. Are you recording this?
Yes, I am.
Lovely. Hope I don't get anything wrong then.
I won't film you, but I'll just point.
You got to remember that there's a whole slew of engineers that have touched this project. So I think I have everything right, but we'll see. So we start with the lower arms, and what we've done is we've created what's simply known as an H member. So steel welded into a box in the shape of an H. So in this case, a double H. And so what it's doing is it's giving us a very strong, solid frame for the side of the chair. And when you talk about the amount of load that you actually see when you sit into a chair and put your weight onto the arms, there's a lot of force generated there. So what we have to do is make this arm very strong. So one of the things that's different about our construction is that it's steel here. A lot of chairs you'll see are built up from plywood, a lot of wood in there, and over time that wood fatigues and yields and starts to become creaky and things like that.
That's where we talk about the metal-to-metal connection, everything's metal-to-metal. Okay.
So these arms are, the longitudinal members are 2 by 1 inch, 60 thousandths thick steel tubing. These are 1 by 1.5. And the reason that these are smaller is because we actually have moving components on the inside of these arms.
Okay.
So we've given ourselves some space to work back there.
Cool.
Then the plywood components are then glued onto the assembly. So basically that's the face of the chair. I mean, you can take this chair, boil it down to just the steel components, and it's freestanding, everything works. And you have a skeleton model that's fully functional. So everything you see that's wood is there to give a different face to the product rather than just
More cosmetic than structural.
and then the foam on the outside to give you the soft surface for the upholstery. So when you walk up and touch the chair, it doesn't feel hard. So, Pat, you want to talk to him about the upholstery? Because, I mean, this is your...
You're good at this part.
Yeah, this is his baby. I'm not the upholstery expert.
Of course, patterns were developed based on the size of the arm and the foam components that were underneath it. And in general, their job is to position it in the right areas so that the seams are hidden at the tops and salvages are turned correctly. They're trimming out for the control handle here, trimming out on the bottom so that the bumper fits in. So when these parts fit up, and they have check fixtures there that they use to check those areas. So when he gets done with that, he'll check the top, make sure that the seams are all right. He'll check the bottom, make sure that the seams are all right, and he'll check his cutout for the controls, make sure that the panels feed properly. And then they pass them on down from there. So the next operation is, again, mechanical assembly of the parts that go into the arm. So the things that he's checking for here are going to get put on at that next stage.
So this is all the parts as they show up from the suppliers. So this is, I know Travis Zimbar was talking about the ability to locate that footrest lever on the other side, making it, because of the way the parts are, make it a little more simple.
The chair was developed so that it's a mirror image from one side to the other. So all you have to do is take this window and put it on this side of the arm rather than bias to this side. And it's now the other side of the arm. Other than that, everything is perfectly symmetrical. That is the only thing that's different. And so if you want the lever on the right side of the chair, very easy to do. And we actually developed this chair so that if you wanted it on both sides, it's possible to do that. I said we actually developed the chair so that if anyone in the future says, well, we really want a handle on both sides of the chair, we can actually make that happen. It's all been developed so it's possible. So what you see going on over here is they're installing the casters and the parts of the locking mechanism onto the chair. So all our activation points you see here are bolted onto the chassis. So onto the arm, I should say. And that arm basically becomes a fully functional piece before it ever gets bolted to the rest of the chair. So you can see he's installing the cables which activate our brake system. And the casters have already been put into the assembly. These casters simply slide through the tube in the lower arm. Because, I mean, this is our strength again. Like I mentioned before, it's steel, it's a strong part. Casters slide in, they're bolted down, and then the brake calipers are attached to the top. The cables are put in there and he ships it off to the next station. You'll see it here in a second. So what he's going to do is he'll take the caster, he'll slide it through the hole. First he's going to put the sliding mechanism in for the arm. So this is, when you have the lever on the side of the chair, what happens is when you recline the chair, when you pop the ottoman out, when you lean back, that mechanism inside moves. And the lever to recline it actually moves as well. So what we have to do is come up with some sort of mechanism to hide that opening, because there's a very large range of travel. So what we've developed here is a set of sliding plates inside the chair that both slide left and right, but it allows you to have some So you can see this is what actually shows on the outside. But as you move this left and right, you can see that that opening goes up and down. And so this moves as well. So in combination, these two slide back and forth across each other to change the location of that hole in a very large diamond pattern. he's putting that assembly together, dropping it in. And you can see there how that moves back and forth. And then it has a bezel on the outside to give it a nice,
Finish to it.
pretty appearance to it. You'll see the caster assembly here in a second. He's done with this.
Put together an auto.
Time developing this ottoman so that we get the shape and the look of the approach.
So instead of the goatee, just the mustache, right?
Well, there's a lot of people who worked on that, and Martinez probably come up with that's the poultry technique on it. The shape of the foam and the way to hide the seams. One thing that's nice about this group of guys here is that they basically, other than the welding and the everything else, the infrastructure, they built their line. They've put all the tools where they need them, brought stuff in, got stuff set up where it needs to be. You want to tell any more about them? These guys have done a lot.
And they do.
Change it and
They've been built stairs. Last
Assembly.
Okay, I didn't realize the bumper went all the way underneath.
Yep.
Wow.
So the bumper is under there, and that's your protection, so you don't run into the wall, damage your upholstery, or do something like that. So he puts the bumper on, slides the casters in through that hole. You put a little Loctite on because these are 5/8 inch threaded stems on the top, so it's pretty massive attachment. You could run this down to 300 yeah. Attach it down. So these casters aren't going.
so from a maintenance standpoint, it's not really intended for those to be field maintained or.
It's you can absolutely get to them. So you can see these are cosmetic covers, so that if by some chance you're actually looking inside the chair, these are hidden and it's blacked out, so it just looks nice and clean. But lift those up, and all you need is a socket with a 5/8 inch, or ratchet with a 5/8 inch socket on it, and you pull that right off. Replacing the caster takes about 2 minutes, I'd say.
So the
chair
Loctite
up.
doesn't
It's not permanent Loctite. So,
Oh, okay.
So it's low strength. So all that does is keep the
Just
bolt,
keep it there.
the nut from spinning.